As soon as the James Harden trade happened, I said, you know what? It's gonna take him a few games to figure this thing out. So against New York on the debut, I didn't expect him to win that game. Of course, it's in Madison Square Garden. Against Brooklyn, okay, they're a solid team. Against Dallas, understandable. They're a top 3 team in the league right now. No complaints here. But then these niggas lost to Memphis. Once I seen that, I said, okay, I got a lot I want to say, but I can't say a lot of it because a lot of it is a lot. Listen here, it's not James Harden's fault. It's not Russell Westbrook's fault. It's not Paul George's fault. It's not Kawhi Leonard's fault. It's not Tyronn Lue's fault. It's somebody's fault though. We have a like goal for this video. Can we get 200 likes? Please and thank you. Appreciate y'all ahead of time. Before the trade happened, the Los Angeles Clippers were pretty gelling early on in the season. They started off 3-1, and then they've lost the last 5 games. 4 of those games being since James Harden has been on the team. We're not blaming James Harden here. This is the Cole Harfax. When you made that trade, you traded away a lot of your defense and bench depth for one player. Like I've said on In the Paint with Kenny Chow, the only way this is going to work is if Russ or Harden come off the bench. I thought it was gonna work if they let Russ play PG, but obviously that shit's not working. So either Russ or James Harden has to come off the bench. Not saying they can't finish the game together, but one of the two have to come off the bench for the betterment of the team. If they don't come off the bench, Jesus Christ, I don't know. Okay, Paul George, since the trade, he's shooting 33% from the field, 16 turnovers, 4 turnovers a game, -8 in the plus or minus column, 17 points per game. He was averaging above, I think, 25 to 26 points a game before the trade happened, by the way. He was in talks of being an MVP. Yeah, now, nigga, yeah. Must find P. That was cheeks. Kawhi Leonard shooting 46% from the field, -8 on the plus or minus 19 points per game. Russell Westbrook, 14 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, -9 on the plus and minus. Here's the interesting thing though. James Harden has actually been shooting the ball pretty well. He's been shooting around 48% from the field, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. But he's a -16 on the plus and minus chart. There's a lot of people out there that don't like the plus or minus. I talked to NBA legends, retired NBA players, and they all give mixed opinions about the plus or minus. Some people say they like it, some people say they hate it because they're like, why is my worth to the team based on 4 other players while I'm on the court? I get it, but at the same time, if you're in the game and you're contributing to a positive score, meaning that the game 0-0, I get in and we go up 10-0, I'm a +10. If I'm on the bench while we're up 10 and I come in, they're going a 7-0 run, I'm -7. It's just how you contribute to winning, and I think that's very valuable, especially in college, man. That's the best way to find out what groups are gelling. This group of 4, by the plus or minus, is not gelling. There's nothing you can do to say, oh, we're getting a lot of scoring from these guys. It doesn't matter. When they're in the game, they are a minus, which means that they are losing when they're in the game together. And to win a game, you kind of got to score more than the other opponent, and also stop them from scoring on you guys if you're not scoring at a high clip. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, Paul George, I'm gonna talk about Paul George for a little bit. Tonight he has 7 turnovers. Played solid. However, 25 points, 7 and 7, and 7. But the more I watch this team, I say, man, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, and Nicholas Batum would help right now because they don't require the basketball to be a successful part of this team. Moving forward, what I think they should do is bring James Harden or Russ off the bench. I think Russ has to start, primarily because when it was the original team with Russ, Kawhi, PG, Russ was just getting into his groove. He looked very good. Trade happens. We expect this to happen. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be gelling issues. They didn't have a whole training camp together. Like Russ came in, but they had what, 1 or 2 practices total. You know what I'm saying? They had a whole training camp. So it's gonna be different and it's gonna look different. But I didn't expect this. I for sure said, okay, they're playing the Memphis Grizzlies with no John Morant, no Steven Adams. They're gonna win by 15 plus. Couldn't be further from the truth. And what sucks about this is they play the Denver Nuggets next game. But on the brighter side, they do play Houston and then San Antonio twice. So I'm hoping they can get 3 of those wins. I'll tell you this. If they end up losing 8 straight games and there's no adjustment to the lineup, Tyronn Lue, you're gonna be in a lot of heat, brother. Hate to break it to you, man. Gotta keep it real. You're gonna have to figure this out. I just think they have to get out of the Staples Center. I couldn't imagine going into an arena where we have not one banner ever. Now, I have this thing that I want to start doing. It's called the minute drill, where I go over my highlights of the night, all under a minute. Starting now. Tyrese Maxey, 50 points tonight. Who would have thought? 21st pick in the 2020 draft has become a superstar right in front of our eyes. I know it's early in the season, but he's an all-NBA candidate. Anthony Edwards, getting into it with Draymond Green. It's like whenever the game isn't going the way he wanted to, he just resorts to physicality. I ain't mad at it, though. You know, he told Anthony Edwards, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And had 33 and 7 and 1. Tyrese Halliburton with 25 points, 17 assists. If anybody's gonna break Scott Skiles' 30 assist game, it's gonna be Tyrese Halliburton. You heard it here first. And I think Kyrie is starting to get into his groove. You letting Luka cook, y'all. Now Kyrie is starting to find his groove. You understand how scary this is gonna get? And the Dallas Mavericks are looking very good. Derek Lively was a missing piece. Huge missing piece for them. Rim protection, lob threat. Then you have Grant Williams, who's there to play the Draymond role. The Houston Rockets, 6-3. Who would have thought veteran leadership would have changed the dynamic of that team? Oh, I did. The Warriors have lost 3 straight. Suns are 4-6, and Shea is a problem. And finally, we've seen Anthony dominate Davis, 30-13. Can we see it every night? Find out on the next episode of Sail on Air. That was corny. And that does it for my minute drill. Sayonara. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that movie. I gotta watch film to see if that even is feasible for people to understand what I'm saying in a minute. What?